It is the morning after a horrible loss to your division rival in your home stadium. But, and I get it, you don't want to hear this, the Baltimore Ravens still have a shot to win the division. And the Baltimore Ravens still control their own destiny. We're going to talk about that, AFC North standings, AFC playoff picture, remaining schedules. Then we're going to wrap the show up with overreactions to yesterday's loss to the Steelers. But it's going to be a great show. So sit tight, hold on, and subscribe to the channel. I want to give a quick shout-out and a quick thank you to all the 42,000 people who have already joined us here at the Ravens Rundown. It is as free and as simple as hitting the subscribe button down below. But we're not satisfied with 42K. Trying to get to 42.1K today, 25 subs away from that. If you haven't joined us yet, change that right now. Daily free videos right here on the Baltimore Ravens Rundown. And with that, we start with the rest of today's show. Ryan Mink tweeted this out last night, and honestly, all the credit in the world to Ryan Mink for doing something that I did not have the guts to do. I did not have the guts to talk about the Ravens' playoff chances last night. I knew that had to be a discussion that we had today and this morning. But he said the Ravens still control their playoff destiny. Baltimore wins 4 straight games, including in the regular season finale. The Ravens will win the AFC North based on their third tiebreaker, best one-loss tie percentage in common games. And that's the third and most important in this sense tiebreaker for division champions. It starts off with head-to-head. At that point, it would be 1-1. Then it goes to best one-loss tied in division games. We don't really know what that's going to be like as of right now because these games still need to all play out. But if you win out, you would have the best one-loss tied percentage in common games, which does not matter what the Pittsburgh Steelers do from here on out. If you take care and control of your business, you would be able to win the division if you win your last 4 games. Now, it's easier said than done, right? You got some pretty good opponents ahead of you. Week 15 on the road in Cincinnati, a team that just played the Bills down to the wire in their home stadium and beat you in your home stadium just about 11 days ago. Then you got to go play New England, top seed in the AFC. You got to go play Green Bay, number 2 seed in the NFC. And then you got to go to Pittsburgh, a team that just beat you on your home turf. That is a daunting schedule, especially for a team who has lost their last 2 games, and really it did not feel that competitive, did it? It really did not feel like you were a team that even deserved to be in either of those games. You've lost 2 in a row, and now you're hearing me tell you, oh, all you got to do is win these last 4. I haven't seen anything to show me that they've got the ability to do that. So I get where your frustration is. I get where you're coming from. Totally. Trust me, I'm kind of there as well. Pittsburgh, the good thing is, you don't really have to rely on them to lose out because, like we said, if you win out, you can still control things. They've got an easier schedule, an easier stretch, far easier than you've got. They play against Miami at home. Miami's been playing good football, but Miami in Pittsburgh in mid-December, we all know how that story usually ends. Week 16 at Detroit. Detroit's been playing good football. Week 17 at Cleveland. They just lost to the Titans. Stick a fork in them. They're done. And then, of course, the regular season finale at home against the Baltimore Ravens. Look, you're still in a spot that I don't think any of us thought that we'd be in right here, is you still control your own destiny. Now, this is the last straw. Any more losses, you don't. Okay? So this might be the last time we're able to say this. But you still do. It's still up to you. A lot of teams don't have that luxury. Okay? A lot of teams have to rely on other teams to lose. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is make sure you win. Now, you have not near as much slack as you did before. Before you kind of said, okay, you could lose this game. You could lose this game. That's kind of out of the window. You got to win out. But you only have 4 games left to do it. And if you play your best football, which we really haven't seen since Thursday Night Football against Miami, you're good enough to beat a lot of teams. I know that sounds crazy to say. What's the percent chance the Ravens win the division? Scale it for me 1 to 100 in the comment section down below. Weigh in and give me your answer right now down below. So basically, Next game against Cincinnati. If you beat them, you pretty much knocked them out. Now, they don't really have a good chance to make the playoffs. Like right now, I think they're sitting at like a 3% chance to win the division, and Pittsburgh's all the way up at like 64. You're at like 31 or 32 or something like that. They're pretty much done. But you could go ahead and in their schedule, put the nail in the coffin, put them down next week because they did not beat the Buffalo Bills yesterday in the snow. Joe Burrow totally sold that game with 2 late picks. You don't really care about the wild card anymore. So I don't really care about you guys saying, Joey, but what about what happened on Sunday Night Football? Oh, but Joey, show us the AFC playoff picture. The AFC playoff picture means nothing to you. Nothing. The only thing you should care about is the division. The only thing you should care about are the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. That is it. For the rest of the year, you're rooting for 2 things. You to win, Pittsburgh to lose. That's all that matters, okay? Now, if you win these 3, and Week 18 comes around, you got a chance to win the division, go to the playoffs, lock it in right now? Yeah, sure. Maybe we'll talk about first-round matchups, who those might be. I don't care who your first-round matchup is, okay? I do not care. It could be my Pee-wee football team from 3rd grade, the Arlington Optimist Lions, okay? Me and Andre running in a quarterback and running back. I was a good quarterback in my day. It could be the 07 Patriots. It could be the 85 Bears. I don't care who it is. Focused on you winning your football games. Because if you win your football games, you still make the playoffs. I hate the Steelers. Do you hate the Steelers? If you do, spam those me's in the comment section down below. I need to know who's with me. Blow it up. Another thing you guys need to blow up is PrizePicks on the App Store. Because if you download the PrizePicks app, use our code CLNS, you get $50 in lineups. All you got to do is play your first $5 lineup. It's the holiday season, which means it's the best time of the year for sports. Bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which game to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right. That's PrizePicks. My wife couldn't even name 4 pro teams. Then we started playing on PrizePicks. Now every Saturday night, we're breaking down who she's picking for her lineup. It's the most exciting way to watch football. PrizePicks now has early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. I want to talk real quick about the power play. Because if you choose power play, you get the biggest payouts. And I power played this lineup from yesterday's game. The only good thing to come out of Ravens Steelers in Week 14 was me in this PrizePicks lineup. More, Derrick Henry, 86.5 rush yards. Cha-ching. More, Aaron Rodgers, 19.5 pass completions. Cha-ching. More, Zay Flowers, 64.5 receiving yards. Cha-ching. All around. Win money with PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. The link to this promo is in the comments and description of today's video. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All right, some Week 14 overreactions for you. Number 1, if you don't know what these are, basically the things we're seeing out on social media, I tell you whether they're an overreaction or they are a proper reaction. And this one kind of feels more towards a proper reaction, somewhere in the middle. It's a gray area. Because if you don't make the playoffs this season, if you don't even have a chance in Week 18, I think it's time for everybody to lose their jobs. I do. Offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, head coach. They all have got to be gone. You came into this year with the best odds to win the Super Bowl, and you're telling me you're probably going to miss the playoffs? Miss me with that. Something has to change, and it has to start from the top down. That is so blatantly obvious with how poorly this team is coached. Number 2, seeing this, Lamar gets no help. And I don't really think that's an overreaction. Now, I want to mince my words here carefully. Lamar Jackson was not perfect yesterday. Lamar Jackson has been far from perfect in 2025. But he also faces a ton of drops in critical moments. The Zay Flowers drop on 3rd and 2. Rashod Bateman drop on 4th and 2. The Isaiah Likely drop in the end zone that he couldn't bring down to be a touchdown. Not a ton of help there. Okay? But also, I do think it's a little bit of an overreaction to say he gets no help, insinuating that this is all on everybody else except him. I don't believe it. Lamar Jackson is as much to blame for this losing skid as anybody else in this roster. There's overreaction number 1 and number 2. To overreaction number 3 we go. The refs screwed Baltimore. I go back and forth with this, but I don't. It's hard. I'm going to say not an overreaction because Baltimore screwed Baltimore. Let's call a spade, right? You had the ball 3rd and 2 after that touchdown got called back. You couldn't convert. You couldn't. So did the refs screw Baltimore, or did the refs just put Baltimore in a bad position and then Baltimore couldn't do anything off of that? That's kind of what I believe. Overreaction number 4. Worst pass rush in Ravens history. I kind of think this one is. Now, I need to look in the statistics, but you've gone back-to-back games with 0 sacks. That is the second time you've done that this season in a stretch of back-to-back games, no sacks. And that brings us to the 5th. The season is over. Technically, it's an overreaction because technically it's not. Now, we don't want to talk about technicalities because it feels like it's over and it feels like we all want to press the panic button. But it's not. I want to give you a little bit hard. It's not. That's going to do it for today's show. Make sure you're going to be followed on social media, Twitter, Instagram, youtube.com/RavensTV. That's where you subscribe. Do it today, and we'll see you